and you want the federal government to get exactly the same amount of money that it does today, it's 23 cents out of every dollar you spend. It's 23 cents out of every dollar you spend. Now, what number did you guys come up with earlier? What was your percentage? Anybody have a percentage below 23% when you figured it out? One guy, retiree over here, I could tell. Not retired, working still. So we had one person in the room, two. Let me finish this one, and then you're up next, and you may. So it's 23 cents out of every dollar you spent. Now, when I said that number to President Bush's Tax Reform Commission, one of the PhD economists said, "Tom, that's too much." And I looked her straight in the eye and said, "Look, I'm just the messenger. I'm telling you what the federal government is getting from you today. It's hidden because they've got 10 places they're getting it. And you never see all those 10 places put all together in one spot, like you will under the fair tax, where it all comes down to a retail sales receipt. But the number that they're getting from you today is 23 cents out of every dollar you spend, and that's the fair tax rate." Okay.
Well, the argument is why power now is not over that, because you have 50% approximately, 40% of people not paying income tax or paying Social Security. They're paying way under that point.
They're paying 15%.
Right.
Okay.
So they say it's an unfair burden on 40% of Americans.
There you go. So for those of you who couldn't hear the question was, people in Washington today, on either side of the aisle, might argue that 40% of Americans aren't paying any income tax. They're only paying Social Security tax. That means they're paying 15% today. So this is an unfair burden. Okay, that's why there's a mechanism in the fair tax bill to where no American citizen pays a dime of tax until they spend above the poverty level.
How do they enforce that?
The poverty level is calculated and recalculated every year by the Health and Human Services. It's been a calculation that both sides of the aisle have trusted for years. It's redone every year. Nobody pays any tax till they spend above it.
How do they, you go in to buy groceries or whatever you buy and pay tax, how do they say, well, you're not paying tax yet? You know, how do they work?
You get a rebate check at the beginning of every month that zeroes what tax you will pay in that month coming up, according to your family size.
So it's not really income reporting, it's just your family size?
Exactly. Has nothing to do with income. Remember, there's no more income tax, there's no more income tax reporting, it's your family size. That's what you register one time with the Social Security Administration, and you start getting checks the same way people on Social Security do. It absolutely cuts the legs out from under those who would say this is a burden. It does not tell people that their necessities of life are food, their necessities of life are medicine, their necessities of life are clothing. It lets them decide what they want to spend that money on. But it absolutely guarantees that no American citizen pays a dime of tax without any forms of any kind, without any withholding of any kind. They get their whole paycheck every week until they spend above the poverty level. It is a great deal for low-income, fixed-income people. Yes, sir?
What controls are in place to make sure it's collected?
What controls are in place? What controls are in place to make sure it's collected? So the first thing to know about this, we're Americans, we hate taxes, we're going to cheat, and we're going to cheat successfully. Everybody agree with that? I mean, this whole country started as a tax revolt, right? We hate taxes. We're going to cheat, and we're going to do so successfully. Look at how much cheating goes on under the income tax today. Literally hundreds of billions of dollars, underreported, uncollected, unpaid. We're good at this. Now let's look at the fair tax. Here's a statistic. Everybody listen. 90% of all sales taxes are collected by 8% of the retailers. 90% of all sales taxes are collected by 8% of the retailers. 90% of the sales taxes are collected by Walmart, Target, Sears, Kmart, grocery stores, car dealers, and home builders. 90%. So you only have to watch 8% of corporate America carefully, and you will get 90% of your revenue. The other side of that is the moms and pops of the world. I mean, I've collected sales tax in Texas for years. I owned an advertising agency in Texas before I moved to Florida. I collected the sales tax. I collected it honestly. Most people do what they're supposed to do. There's still going to be that 2.5% that are going to cheat and lie and do all that stuff. But if you've got 8% of corporate America collecting 90% of the tax, if you keep a close eye on a few large moms and pops, you've got well more than 95% of the revenue collected. It's easy. Are people going to cheat? Are people going to do cash under the table? Absolutely. Should they not do that? No, they shouldn't do that. But do we care? Is it a rounding error? Is it a huge improvement over the income tax system? Absolutely. Next question. Yes, sir.
I like the idea of seriously about America, where 40% don't pay taxes and they happily have the same vote as everybody else and they burden on the other 60%.
Yes, sir.
That's common.
Yes, sir.
But one of the other results of it are unforeseen negative results for the country. What bad things happen in this situation?
Okay, so the question is, it's not a good thing when 40% of America don't pay any tax. And the key to this is they do pay Social Security tax. People who quote that to you right out of the Obama administration or wherever, those people are still paying Social Security. And that is our wedge as activists to get them on our side. But the rest of the question is, what are the unintended consequences of the fair tax? Okay? There are going to be a lot of them that I haven't figured out yet, even though I've been at this 19 years. But I'll tell you the most significant one that I don't see anybody in the room from, what Stores is part of? Mansfield. Okay? And so I understand that Mansfield always scrutinizes their budgets with great care before they rubber stamp every single one of them. Is that a good understanding of Mansfield? Oh, okay. So, Mansfield's city government is going to be quite upset with the fair tax. Quite upset. Here's why. Mansfield, the county, the state, currently can sell tax-free municipal bonds. Right? And there's a reason to buy them. We can buy, as retirees, tax-free municipal bonds and never have to pay any more federal income tax. Boy, by God, I'm going to take every dime in my retirement portfolio and I'm going to put it in tax-free municipal bonds and I will never pay federal income tax again. Boy, do I like that idea. And they're also, that's an advantage because I can't do that with an Exxon bond. And I'd really kind of rather have an Exxon bond because I think Exxon is a better bet. I think I'd be better off loaning my money to Exxon or to Disney or United Technologies because they're more likely to pay me back than Mansfield municipal bonds are. But I get that little bit of an advantage because it's a tax-free bond. The fair tax passes, guess what? Every bond sold in America is a tax-free bond. Mansfield, as a management entity, now has to compete for your dollars, for your investment dollars with Exxon.